Subcommittee meeting on economic development, which moves our state forward, and all the partners in this regard, we have moved forward, and thank you so much for the work you have done. We're going to first start it with prayer, if you join me in a devotion. Dear Heavenly Father, bless us today. Please keep us making good decisions for the people of Georgia. Thank you for honoring us with your grace, and please bless our presenters today and the departments they represent for the work that they do for the great state of Georgia as well. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Okay. Our first presenter is going to be the Commissioner of the Department of Community Affairs. Thank you, Mr. Nunn, for being here. If you would go to the podium, unless you need to, I can get your recliner out here if you'd rather relax. And
as long as it works, I'll take a recliner. Good afternoon. Happy Valentine's Day. Hopefully everybody is doing well.
Are you asking us to be your Valentine?
I didn't ask you to be my Valentine. I just said Happy Valentine's Day. So, okay. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today and to present to you on our the budget recommendations before you. And I'm going to work off of your tracking sheet. And I'll just move through these really quickly. Before I do, I think all of you are aware that the Department of Community Affairs touches on a very broad array of activities, and we have been extraordinarily busy over the last couple of years, and I want to thank y'all for your continued support of all of the work that our agency does. I'm just going to run through really quickly two or three key recommendations in the tracking sheet, and I'll start, we're working from section 16, and I'll start at 68.1. So this is a line item that's reflected throughout as an enterprise adjustment to increasing funds for the $5,000 pay increase. So I won't go through this in section by section, but cumulatively this represents about $569,000 throughout the budget.
And also, Commissioner, any place where the House has changed the governor's proposal, please let us know.
That's right. So that was what I was going to reference in 68.2, which is an addition that was came out of the House budget on Friday, and this is an increase in funds for the one-time salary adjustment to provide parity for all full-time benefit eligible state employees, and here that's reflected as a $4,037 increase in 68.2. This is reflected throughout and totals about 1.68 million total throughout the budget. If you will recall, our budget or our employees, all of whom are full-time state employees, are paid for from a variety of different sources, and so I think the intent here is to just ensure that we're able to provide parity for all of those state employees. Again, I'm not going to hit on those two as I go throughout, but it is reflected again under the building construction program in 69.1 and 2. It's reflected under coordinated planning in 70.1 and 2, and continuing on. I'm going to move all the way forward to page number 9 in page number 10. In your tracking sheet under 78.2 under state economic development programs. So here, in addition to the enterprise adjustments that I've just mentioned, 78.2 is a $112,627,760 recommendation to provide funds for the Joint Development Authority of Jasper, Morgan, Newton, and Walton County. And these funds are intended to support the Rivian project, which I know you are aware of. The Department of Economic Development can speak specifically to these, but these funds are intended to be used for land acquisition, site prep, as well as some rail spur construction. And I know Pat or his team would be happy to speak specifically to those if there are any questions.
Yeah, well, it's a shame that Pat's not here today, but continue on.
He sent his better half.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree with that, but anyway, keep going, Commissioner.
Okay, and then continuing on, the only other, only two other adjustments are under payments to the One Georgia Authority. So I'll direct your attention to section 81.1. This $1,716,400 increase is to provide funds for a water storage agreement at Lake Allatoona. You may remember, I believe it was the amended 19 budget. There was a similar.
Excuse me, Commissioner. Senator Miller, come on in. I don't want to make a point that you're not here on time.
I've been here earlier, but my Honda wouldn't start.
You mean your Toyota? I know.
My Rivian had a dead battery.
That's funny. All right. Sorry.
That's okay.
Continue
that's
on,
okay.
Commissioner.
Senator, how are you? So in the amended FY19 budget, there was a similar water storage agreement that was a contract that the state executed with the Corps of Engineers. That one was at Lake Lanier. This is at Lake Allatoona. It essentially acquires long-term water storage, that represents a fairly substantial portion of the lake that can be used for communities in that part of the state. So Bartow, Cobb, that portion of the state.
Thank you for that. It's very important because the only compliment I have with the city of Atlanta is their conservation regarding water, or our lawsuits in the past would have been devastated. And because of that effort and actions in the metropolitan area, we've done a lot in conservation. But eventually you got to find new water because conservation will only carry you so far. And I just had to say that because all their water that they need is in the Tennessee River. That 6% comes from North Georgia, and we just want our 6%.
I feel like I'm having a dinner conversation. That's
sorry. Continue on, Commissioner.
So that really represents the totality of our recommended. Actually, I'm sorry. You asked me to speak to the House changes. The one other item, 81.3, is a $73,447 reduction from the House. And as I read this and understand it, I believe this just reflects timing on a hire. Those were funds for a position to help with grants on the One Georgia front.
Yes.
That position was brought on board mid-year.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for the Commissioner? Senator Miller, do you have a question?
What took you so long?
All right.
Senator
Huffstetler.
Yeah, and looking over this, I see where the film credits are now about 1.2 billion in this last year. Those have continued to go up, and now we have an audit in place that we put in place to audit those as they go forward. But looking at some of the other programs, particularly some that I know Greg Griffith and his group had looked at this last year, they're not audited at all. It's just whatever numbers people report in, that's what we take. And when his group was in there, some of those people did not even respond to him. And it seems to me if you're getting state money, the least you can do is report what you think the numbers are, whether they are or not. Do you have an opinion on whether we should be doing auditing on these tax credits
on the film tax credits?
No, I'm not talking about the film. I'm talking about credits in general.
Yeah, we already have a bill for the film.
Right.
And we put one in specifically for that last year.
Right. I think that y'all are perfectly. You've got a. I feel like the tax credits that we have in place do an effective job, but there's so many different credits that it's hard to speak to them collectively. And I think you took action last year to address those individually. So is it a specific tax credit that you're speaking to?
I know the rural agriculture one. There were people that were getting hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars that did not even respond to Greg Griffith. I mean, what's your position on that?
I'm not familiar with their response or not response. As you know, with the Georgia Agribusiness and Rural Jobs, we were handed that to administer. Mm-hmm. There were, I believe, 5 rural
but they give the
rural
numbers
funds.
to you, don't they?
Pardon?
They give the numbers to you, don't
They're
they?
supposed to give the numbers to us, and we provided all of that to Greg.
That bill.
So we've provided to the state auditor everything that was provided and available to us. I was unaware that he had not been able to get direct contact, and that's a little disconcerting to me as well.
It's in the report he put out,
Okay.
from what I read.
Thank you. Senator, anybody else? Yes, Frank. Senator again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do remember the AJC did a feature story on the tax credits and stuff several years ago, back when I was chair in economic development, and they were saying that, well, there's 3% of these things where they kind of go off the side, and I looked at them and I said, wait a minute, so you're telling me we're 97% effective and there's only 3% where there's an issue? So for me, I think that's a pretty good track record. Most people call that an A if you're in school. It's not perfect, and I know you want to see perfect, but I appreciate the job y'all do in managing those credits and what's going on with it.
Thank you. Is there any other question or praise for the commissioner? Senator, that button don't work. Senator Miller, would you please?
Thank you. I appreciate the line of question that Senator Huffstetler had regarding the audits. And I think that the number one question that I get from constituents and business people is, how do we know if the tax credits are effective? And I think that Senator Huffstetler's thinking, his line of thinking is on target, and I hope y'all are on board with that.
Absolutely. Y'all, this legislature put in place the Georgia Agribusiness and Rural Jobs Act. We executed that on your behalf.
Well, shouldn't there be some consequences for people that don't even reply? I mean, by the way, if I don't send in my taxes, they call me.
They call you?
I'm sure they would.
Well, do they call you if your warranty is overdue?
Well, new car warranty, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
If you have an opportunity for a new car warranty, I like to give you a call.
Is there any other questions? Senator Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just real quick, if we're running at a 97% response and 3% that's not, and we're looking at the surplus we're generating within our state, and we're looking at the deficit of labor, I think it's a pretty good indication that the investment we're making in our state is working. So I appreciate what you're doing, Commissioner.
Does he live in your district? He does not. Yeah, he does. The new one. Thank you, Commissioner. We appreciate your time
Thank
today,
you.
and glad to see you doing better. Hope that
Thank you.
continues. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Anybody else have any comments before we go next? All right. We're glad to have the treasurer or the finance director for the Department of Economic Development and his community affairs. Wait. His government affairs gentleman with us, who was once a committee aide for me here at the Rules Committee. Fine young man, Josh Stevens. Right. And let me say, is there a reason that the commissioner's not here? Is that like a slap in the face to the committee?
No, he's out with a prospect.
Oh, that's a good
traveling.
answer. Good answer, yeah.
And actually,
Pull the mic down a little bit.
we've been extremely busy. Business has been great, and a lot of it goes to all the credit for all of you keeping the state open. And I'll give you some of the numbers, but I mean, you're talking about the film tax credit. Last year, we had over $4 billion in direct spend in the film industry.
And how much did we give to the industry?
Well, that's just direct spend. So that's supporting small business and things like that.
Oh, yeah,
Caterers, things like that, hotel rooms and things like that.
That's
that's just their direct spend. That's not with the tax.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that whatever we give, we benefit billions of dollars more.
Oh, yes.
The state
yes.
does.
Yeah, it's about 7.2.
Yeah, and all the, how can I say this nicely? Concern, I had a better word for that,
Yes.
was just wrong. I mean, the money that the state gives in incentives comes back in billions of dollars more.
Oh, yeah. Plus
And
the
then
jobs.
we had it audited to make sure, or edited if they were doing a script, audited to make sure that it was correct. And that probably needs to happen to a lot of incentives, or all of them, I guess. But maybe one day we'll do it. Senator Lucas will probably introduce that soon, and we'll all sign on.
Well, it went in effect in 2007, 2008. Before that, you had people going to North Carolina, Louisiana, and all these other places
Oh, yeah.
to work.
I think
Now
the
they're all
movie
staying
Ray
here.
kind of woke us up a little bit
Yeah.
because they acted like the General Assembly that Ray Charles received that,
Mm-hmm.
the state song was done in the Louisiana
Yeah.
house. And of course, the industry started with the movie A Deliverance, and I think, Senator Miller, you had a lot of your relatives in that movie. And there's no support for the industry, so Governor Carter at the time created the film industry.
And the it's
still play
grassroots. They're
the
building
banjo?
sound stages, studios all over. The old GM plant they're building that. And when you're building that, those funds they don't get the tax credit.
Yeah.
It's only for the actual production of the movie. So
Yeah, no,
it's
it's great.
it's just a great support
Well, all right.
system.
Thank you, and thank you, department, all their wonderful people.
Well, thank
like,
you. And couldn't do it
Department of
without
Community
all your
Affairs
help.
as well.
We really
Right.
couldn't do it without all your help. But
All right.
I mean, perfect
Give us the
example.
changes that we see from the
Okay,
House primarily.
So
Tell us what section you're
we're
on.
on section 23.
All right.
That's page 12 of your documents. And 124.2, we would like to see that restored. That was a cut of $20,498. And I'll give just a little narrative on, these are vacant positions. We never have enough funds in our personal services to fund all our vacant positions. Over the last 2 years, we've been about at 17% turnover. What happens is we get people in there, good, bright young people, they get experience and they get gobbled up. And you think about it, they're out there meeting business leaders every day. These business leaders are taking them from us.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the cuts. But what we do, and we've done this
Can
for
we make
years.
it in a contract if they're going to get incentives? They can't touch any people.
Well, I doubt it.
All right, keep going.
But what we do, and when we plan for this, and that's why it's so critical on the amended budget, so what we do with those funds, we plan out during the year and we make an assessment on what we think our surplus is going to be personal services, and then we look to start developing some marketing plans around that.
Sure.
Our personal services and marketing, those two components make up 80% of our budget.
Yes.
With a sales and marketing team, so that's why it's so critical. So we look at those things and we start planning on how we can utilize those funds for marketing efforts. So that's why it's kind of hard now to see that coming in when we see something like that at this point of the year. So that's one of the changes. The next one on page 13 is 125.2. And that is the same thing. All these items I'm going to go over right now are the same thing. They're cuts. They looked at vacant positions and they factored in. And the numbers are legit. It's just we would hope we could utilize that for some of the marketing endeavors that we have. The film industry, you see how successful it is. They had over $300,000 in marketing. Now they're down to, I think it's $198,000 or $207,000 in marketing for the whole year now. So that hamstrings them a little bit on sponsoring different movie events and things like that. Global commerce is the next one. That is 128.2. That's $224,626. The next one is 128.3. That is actually one that we discussed and we were prepared to use. With the House, we actually did discuss that particular line item, and we were in agreement in that because we knew that was happening. Next one is international trade. That's page 15. It's 129.2, $56,209. Next item is in the rural development. We got an increase on 130.2 because when they initially funded the increase for the raises, it was short. So that increase leveled it off for us. Next item on page 16, 131.2 in small minority business, $48,145. And finally, on page 17, the division is tourism. It's 132.2 for $46,000. And then there's another item there, 132.3 that's for the World Congress Center, the $28 million. Normally, their bonds, because they are not a state agency, their bond funding comes through our department. This is actually a cash outlay rather than bonds, so we're not sure how that's going to happen. We can do it if they want to, but I called the World Congress Center the other day, and I think they're going to reach out to the various parties.
They're supposed to be here today.
Oh, okay. Well, they may be here. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
No, we're glad to hear. Of course, I've already had a gentleman member of the Senate make sure I take care of him. But anyway,
Okay.
do you have a question?
I did not.
Anybody? Yes, sir.
I just want to say we appreciate the record economic year you guys did.
Thank you.
It's certainly going to pay off for Georgia in the long run.
We're very full, and we
Did they have any
thank you all.
activity in Floyd County?
Well, I don't know about that, but we do make all the Pirelli tires for the Rivian trucks in Rome, Georgia. So
Wow.
I think it'll have an impact.
Did you
up
make
there.
that happen, Senator?
No.
No, yeah. Yes.
Oh, yes, I made it happen.
All right. Any questions for our good friends with the Department of Economic Development? Yes, sir. Senator.
Yeah, I would just like to comment. I know those that are in the room and those that are listening, things don't happen just overnight. And, you've been working on a little project at Lake Point for a number of years. And I think it's public now that Amazon finally closed on their 80 acres up there. So that's been at least,
Is it?
3 or 4 years in the works and
3.5.
a lot of challenges. So thank you for perseverance to be able to get that done up in Bartow County.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Now,
that.
that's in your district, right, Senator
That's in my
Husted?
district.
You had something to do with that, too?
Bartow County, too. So.
You have something. Y'all have something to do with this? Yes. Yes. My goodness, how much training do you need? All right. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you very much,
Thank you
John.
for your
I
time.
appreciate your tenure too. You've been here since I've been here, or maybe longer. Who was your first commissioner?
Randy Cardozo.
Oh, yeah, you was here longer than I've been. Not much longer though. Hey, hold on. We're gonna please forgive me. We're going to the World Congress Center since we had a tie-in here. Please forgive me. But we kind of had a tie-in here.
Yeah. Good afternoon,
Yes,
Chairman Mullis.
Who are you?
I'm Lindsay Strickland. John, I'm Lindsay Strickland with the World Congress Center. So nice to see you.
Yeah, we know her
No,
CFO.
it's fine. And I'm so sorry Frank Poe can't be with us today. He's
Frank
out of
Poe,
town
did
on
he
a
choose
family
not to
matter.
honor us today?
No, he really wanted to be here. Yeah.
You're talking
Frank
about
Poe.
Connor Poe. Wrong one.
No. But he does hate. Yes, he does hate that he couldn't be here today, but I brought someone really great with us, and it's our Chief Commercial Officer, Joe Bacher. He's with us today, and he'll help walk us through the one change that we had. And as John was alluding to, it's on page 17 of your document under Section 23. It's 132.3. It's an increase of funds in the amount of $28.8 million for our roofing replacement. And Melody may have handed y'all a document that we provided, and we want to kind of walk through what that roof replacement looks like and why it does cost a pretty number of $28.8 million. And with that, I'm going to kick it to Joe. But thank y'all so much for your time.
Thank you,
today.
Lindsay. Joe, I got a question. Is
Yes,
your
sir.
roof leaking?
It does, and it is.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Now, let me ask you this too. Melody, I probably should ask you, but why does it have to be cash? Can it be bonding for later on? Or in my area, I'm not saying bondo. We use that for a lot of things up there, but tell me. We could be?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
We could get some volunteers, put some tar up there for a while. Excuse me.
They're
I'll
up
do
there
it.
working right now
We
as
can do
we
some
speak.
tar up there for a while over there.
That's right.
All right, keep going.
No,
I
well,
won't
thank you.
embarrass
Thank you, Chairman, members of the committee, for allowing us the time this afternoon to talk about this critical project, really for the future success of Georgia World Congress Center. As we all know, the last 2 years have been quite challenging in the hospitality industry. I'm thrilled to tell you we're back, and we're coming back very strong. The sales team's been extremely busy over this time and are out booking business well out into the future. Let me give you an example of that. For the next 5 years, at a minimum, we have on average about 20 to 22 large citywide conventions that are coming into Atlanta. We have business on the books right now going out and spanning over the next 2 decades, with someone booked as long as 2042.
Really?
We have a convention
Now,
on the books.
excuse me, but during COVID, it really was a hit and a setback for conventions all over the United States, I'm sure.
You know, it sure was, and we're thankful under Governor Kemp's leadership that we remained open, and as the 4th largest convention center in North America, no one else really did other than our friends in Orlando.
And for the COVID, you set up a makeshift hospital, or
We did.
Tell us all you did to help the community.
We
here.
did. In building A, we were, yes. And we got through that, and we're fortunate with the customers that we have understood our responsibility and to the state and to do that, and they really applauded it after.
Yeah.
And
Now, I got the pleasure of going with your group to
We did.
Chicago.
yes, sir.
And that's the nation's largest convention area, right?
It is.
Is that true? And they have harvesting, or they plant food on top of the
Yep.
roofs. Not all of them, but some.
That's right.
Do we have any of that here?
We do not at the
Okay.
moment.
Because I know at the Mercedes-Benz, if they did it there and they opened the roof, it'd fall to
It
the
would fall
ground, right? So that probably wouldn't be a good
You
thing.
know, we have a very creative chef who would like to go down that path. So
Yeah,
no,
the
not
senator
currently.
just reminded me, according right now, your roof, it'd fall through too. If
You'd want to be careful if
Apparently.
you were walking around up there.
Yeah, well, I won't be.
No doubt. But this project is critical. It's critical to our future. It's critical to the economic impact that is provided for the state of Georgia. And
So tell us of the changes that the House did for your budget.
so,
Huh? Oh,
yeah, that's it, just the one.
okay. Senator, again.
Several years ago, y'all spent a lot of money putting down the carpet. And at the time, I think there was carpet that was, y'all were looking at from other parts of the planet other than Georgia. And I was really proud of, Chairman Houston said over in the House, but this roofing material that you're putting down, is it Georgia-based by chance?
We are doing
Ooh,
everything
good
in our
question.
possibility to go through the state procurement process and procure every part that we can from the state of Georgia.
Great answer.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody?
Yep.
Now, what is the your vehicles that you use? What brand are they?
Vehicles?
Yes.
Yeah, all across.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, no, we know.
All right. Well, need some training here, Lindsay. Yes, sir.
On a serious note, isn't it true that if we do this in stages, the fact of the matter is whatever the appropriation is, it'll actually get more expensive than if we were to take a one-time hit and just complete this?
That is very true. Right now, from a procurement standpoint, we really look at almost every project on campus saying the dollar is the dollar today.
Yeah. Let's.
And, we have some of our a team here on the project side as well that prices are escalating daily. So we believe if we can move forward and procure these dollars, that we'll be able to continue the project, which is underway, but finish it in an ample amount of time and on budget.
Yeah, we're real proud of your progress because you do indeed have a great place for any company to have a conference or convention there.
It's been busy and it's been good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Senator Miller?
I would just like to, while we have the opportunity to just brag on the operation at the World Congress Center. You mentioned during the height of the COVID pandemic, literally, these folks and others were pushing brooms and emptying trash, and doing the jobs that had to get done when we didn't have workers to come in, couldn't find people to work, and there was a couple of really significant events over there. One of which was a girls volleyball.
Yes.
Not that I follow that sort of thing, but
It's volleyball and cheerleaders kept us alive.
and the cheerleaders. I
yes.
follow the cheerleaders as well, but
Yep.
but y'all kept the business open, and that's good for Georgia and good for Atlanta and good for the center. And I appreciate you being here and appreciate the good work you do.
Indeed.
Thank you, Senator.
All right. Any other questions?
Oh,
Thank
by the
you.
way,
Oh,
no, I'm kidding.
give it to me. You're like a Baptist preacher. You're going to come back 4 times.
Close 4 times.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Let us know what we can do. We got your message.
Yeah, I would
today.
just say if you look through slides 5 through 10, that's going to give you some of
Thank
the
you.
best examples in there of the project. So
And it always helps bringing this young lady who we respect tremendously. And
we do as well.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. The Public Service Commission. And thank you again for giving me a break in the agenda a little bit. We have Terry Lindell with us here, and Cash, he's not paying attention. Anybody else? I need to. Thank you. Oh. How are you doing?
I'm well. Senator,
Who's all
how are
with you today?
I have Terry Pritchett, our Chief Financial Officer, Tom Kraus, our Public Information Officer and Legislative Liaison, who I believe you know quite well.
Where's all your commissioners?
I bring regards from my
I'm
commissioners.
devastated. I feel like we've been dishonored.
No. Chairman
All
wanted
right,
me
let's
to,
cut their budget some more. Yeah. Second.
she told me to leave with her regards that they're in Washington, D.C. Each year
We hear that all the time.
Each year at this time, commissioners from all over the country go to Washington to fight for state appropriations from the federal.
Yeah, so their budget is controlled up there in Washington? Is that what you're saying?
No, sir.
Okay.
Only to augment and help us out here in the state.
All right, I hear
That's
you,
what
I
they're
hear
trying
you.
to do
No,
for the state.
we're here.
Thank you, Senator. My name is Reese McAllister. I'm the Executive Director of the Georgia Public Service Commission. Thank you for the opportunity to appear here today to discuss the changes from the governor's recommendations, and I'll get right into those. If you look on page 17 of your tracking sheet, section 262.2, we see an increase. It was regarding legal fees for a court case. When we originally worked with the governor's office on the recommendation, we were at $70,450 in legal fees that had been incurred, that had not been recouped. And since that time, they actually scheduled a trial for this fiscal year, so they're being increased by $150,000, which is the estimate we received from the attorney involved, Special Assistant Attorney General. So that's that increase in cost. Also on page 17, section 262.3, we see an increase of $4,000 from the governor's recommendation regarding an implementation of an electronic filing system, which will increase our efficiencies by automating various manual processes. The increase was brought about for additional annual maintenance and operating expenses, and also increased costs associated with the implementation of that product. As we go to the next.
Yeah, please, keep
Yes,
moving.
Yes, sir.
Well, hold it. I got one question.
Yes, sir.
Tell that Commissioner Shaw he needs to talk to his old buddies over in the House to, make them understand the need for 262.2. I'm just devastated that they're treating him like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, continue.
Yes, sir. Just so you know, as we look at the next three items, they actually fall within different budget programs, but the same expense justification behind it. We receive a portion of our budget from the federal government from money that we receive there. And so if you look on page 18, section 263.2, page 17, section 262.4, the first one, you see an increase of $2,442. This is for a one-time salary adjustment to bring us parity for full-time, all-state full-time benefit-eligible employees under the administrative division where there was a shortfall. And also on page 18, section 263.2, we see an additional $27,812 for the same purpose to bring us in parity for full-time benefit-eligible state employees within the facilities protection budget program. And then similarly on page 19, section 264.2, we see an additional $786 for an increase for a one-time salary adjustment for parity as well for full-time benefit-eligible state employees within the utilities division. And that's the only changes within our document.
Anybody have any questions for the Department of Public Service? Yes, sir. Senator Huffstetler.
The court case, can you say, I know we talked about that a year ago, can you say where it's at right now?
Yes, sir. We within the last 2 weeks, there was a motion for summary judgment, and the judge ruled on the motion for summary judgment, denied the motion for summary judgment, and it's been scheduled for a trial I believe in June this year. So we will be going to a bench trial in June.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I certainly support having the staff to do the work that they need to do as you got in this letter. And if I could just make a comment to bullet point number 4, I've got a hearing tomorrow on a bill in regulated industries regarding securitization that's been used in 22 states. I know Duke Power in North Carolina has used it to save money. I sent an email to the commissioners, probably should have sent it to you guys too, but any input they've got, thoughts, suggestions, even if they want to be at the hearing, be welcome to. But it is, as you said, you're looking to save money, and we've seen that in other places, reduce interest rates by even 100 basis points. And so,
is there something wrong with your seat?
He's helping him out, isn't he?
Senator, I just want to let you know we did know that was on that committee meeting Is it tomorrow, I believe?
Tomorrow, yes.
Yes, the commissioners are still out of town tomorrow and Wednesday.
Okay,
but
so they're, I'm not any better than the chairman here. They're not gonna come to my meeting either, is what you're saying.
we will be reporting back what happened in your committee, and if
Yeah,
there is any other
I do
information you
want
need,
your
we'll get it
input,
to you.
particularly from your financial guy here, you know, what he sees on that maybe in the next few days, if that's possible.
I understand. We have our utilities director also who's been looking into your bill and
Great.
is well aware of the internal workings of it and can talk to you about that.
Thank you.
All right, and look, we're glad to have Tom with us. He used to be here in the Senate. He's my favorite German ancestry guy. Isn't that your last name, German? See? All right, and thank you for being here with us today. Is there any other questions? All right, is that it? I think that's all, but thank you so much.
Senators. Thank you.
Let's see. Anybody have any comments? Senator, do you have anything to say? Okay. Senator Thompson, with your new district, do you have anything to say?
Mr. Chairman, I think we're in good hands.
All right. Senator Huffstetler, thank you for your insight, and we appreciate your financial expertise.
Well, I have a lot of friends that help me out sometimes too.
Yeah, no, you're
When
excellent.
I'm sitting right over there. It's,
You talking about Frank?
yeah.
All right. Senator Ginn, do you have anything? Do you have any final thing to say?
Always great to be with you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Senator Miller, do you have anything to say?
I think I've said it all, thanks. I did, by the way, did you notice I have a red tie today for Valentine's Day?
Oh, I missed
Nobody's
that part.
all Valentine
I missed
up.
that
Look at that.
part. Okay, thanks for bringing that out for everybody. I'm not into it. All right. If there's nothing else, we're adjourned. Have a good day. Thanks so much, Mr. Leader. You did come in for a little while. We appreciate your leadership.